Hey folks, it's Lindsay Hustle with SPS back in the building over at JW Sexton, home of the J-Dubs for the SPS Track and Field Tour. And I'm here with my guy, head coach, Coye Bouyer. How you doing, man?
Sir? Good to see you.
Hey, man, fifth year, I lost count, you know. Have you lost count?
COVID messed everybody up.
COVID threw it off a little bit.
Actually, it could be the 6th year. So, I hadn't lost count.
It could be 6 years?
It could be 6. It's 5 or 6.
Tell me how you feeling, man. Track and Field coach, being back here, helping these young people. How's it been going for you?
I would say this program over the last 5 or 6 years has definitely developed a lot. We've grown from a team where boys was maybe 11 to 13 boys, team of anywhere from 7 to 11 girls, to a team of now almost 30 plus boys.
Yeah, it was 7 to 11 just in shot put or something like that.
That's right. It's probably about 22 girls.
So we're not gonna give you complete credit that you deserve, because you're a humble guy. You won't say it. But what has led to the growth of so many people getting involved over the years?
Well, one of the things about track is there's a lot of opportunity to have success. So a lot of the kids come, especially the boys, they want to play football, they want to play basketball, they want to go to the next level. And I kind of remind all the kids, like, hey, track is just another option where a lot of opportunities, because you got the 100, the 200, you got the high jump, the long jump. And so in the event that you are not one of those top guys that go to the next level, this is another opportunity to fall back on. It's what happened to me.
Sure.
I wanted to play basketball, got moved to varsity my freshman year here at Sexton, and then played my junior year and then played my senior year for varsity. And I thought I was really good, loved basketball. At the end of the day, track was where I got my money. I got a full ride.
That's awesome. And
so, I had a natural ability, worked hard, and although I wanted this, I ended up doing it in that, meaning track, and it was successful.
And it worked out. A lot of your young people that I interviewed, I was asking which was their favorite, and they were saying the ones that they're successful in. So you think that's a mindset that's kind of here, a part of this Sexton
Let me tell you something. I don't care who you are. When you start winning, you start liking it.
Yeah,
that's another thing. Yeah. So because I have so many events I can choose from, I would try to find a good event for the kid that really fits who they are. And if they have success, then man, they want to come out here. So that's so anything that you're successful in, even if you didn't like it at first and you were unsure about it, it will make you want to do it more. Number one. Number two, the track team is a family. A lot of the kids come out to the track team, and what they're experiencing is a different environment than what they're experiencing on other sports teams.
Right.
And I remind my kids, hey, you will respect me. We're not gonna be out here using foul language. We're going to root for one another. We're going to encourage one another. But then I also tell the kids that I demand that you respect me, but I'm going to also respect you back. So I'm not cussing at you. I'm not yelling and screaming. I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I'm trying to actually encourage you in a manner in which you feel good about yourself, but at the same time still being firm and challenging you. Because kids, they need discipline. They actually thrive better in it and oftentimes want it.
Yeah.
They just don't always see it, or they see it done harshly. So just trying to create a family atmosphere, because I have had kids over the years. I think about Charleston Rogers. He was one of my first athletes in the first couple of years. He loved football. He loved basketball. Track was his third sport, but he would tell me every year, Coach, it's just something about the environment, the team, the atmosphere that makes track one of the most exciting sports for me when I get out here, even though it's not my favorite sport.
Right.
And so
that's
just
a great life
create a family
too.
aspect.
Speaking of that, you've had the collegiate experience, and we see all the different things that are happening in collegiate sports that are working their way to high school sports. The name, image, and likeness. I talked to you about that. Matter of fact, on June 20th, a Thursday at 7 o'clock, and I'll give you more information. We're going to be doing the SPS Town Hall, talking about the current issues with name, image, and likeness in high school with the legislation that we're working with. Also, this transfer portal that doesn't impact the high school athletes, but in the next 12 to 24 months, a lot of your players will be faced with that. And finally, mental health, which has always been a big issue. But starting with NIL, I mean, can you imagine that? How do you think that will work for NIL possibilities in high school when this legislation goes through?
Well, it's a legislation. Are they trying to make it to where they can do name, image, and likeness even in high school?
Without losing their amateur status. And this can be law as early as probably July of this year, or maybe as late as early next year, based on how the legislature moves.
So I think that's the way the world is going. There's no way around it. I think for some of these kids, I'm giving them an opportunity to take advantage of capitalism.
There it is.
But I will also say that for a lot of these kids, it's going to also do a lot of damage to them or harm, just like it does any athletes when you get too much too early. And I hate to say that. I think here's the thing. I think what's happening is our kids aren't really being appropriately prepared, just generally speaking, to handle certain levels of money and fame, and it kind of goes to your head. And so I think it's going to be a lot of issues with it, but there's no stopping it. So what I would say to coaches, even to myself, hey, you got to kind of roll with the punches. And the goal would be to say, hey, how do we start to prepare our kids to the best of our ability for what they're about to embark upon, knowing that there's going to be some good, there's going to be some bad, there's going to be some opportunity to actually get your name out there, make some money. There's going to be some opportunity where you might make this money and do the wrong stuff with it.
I love
that's
that.
Anything.
And what you inspire me with is with SPS, the education part. Just like you say, how do we prepare them? So that's one of the goals I have with a statewide education campaign. I'm going to keep you involved with that. The next issue, absolutely, because you're good on it. The next issue is the portal. What do you do if you haven't had this already? If you have a student athlete or even one of the Bouyer boys respectfully call and say, Dad, this first year, this second year here has been okay, but I think I want to get in the portal. I mean, how do you advise somebody if they were reaching out to you looking at the portal as an option?
On the collegiate level.
On the collegiate level.
So I think that on the collegiate level, what I've often heard and experienced, especially with certain sports, a lot of times it is politics. And so if you think that you can get a better opportunity by going someplace else and utilizing the portal, then so be it. But again, it's going to come back to there's some good, there's some bad. Some kids are utilizing the portal as a way to just really get away from this system, thinking they're going to be better for that one. And the issue really ain't the system, ain't the coach, it's just your own talent. You're not on that level. Reality. So I think that again, you're going to have some pros and cons with it, some good and some bad. I think it can be utilized well for certain athletes. Other athletes, it's just going to be an excuse to say, hey, somebody did me wrong. Or, it wasn't right there, and they're still going to go someplace else and experience the same thing.
So it's all about the individual.
At the end of the day, the cream rises to the crop.
I
like cream rises to the top, excuse me.
Finally, talking about mental health, clearly you're a man of faith, Pastor Bouyer. But when you talk about the mental health issues that come out, how do you help your student athletes? How do you help your colleagues when they talk about the mental health challenge that come, and they probably are more likely to be drawn to you because of your faith and your background that adds to the credibility of how you can help them? How do you respond to that?
Most of the kids that I'm dealing with, and it's just people, period. A lot of times what I do is I just have to sit and gotta listen.
You know so much. You talking. You're not talking. You listening.
Yeah, you're just listening. And I think that the more you listen to somebody kind of share their story, what they're experiencing, what they're going through, it will help you better identify whatever traumas in their lives or what we would call hang-ups. I would call them spiritual strongholds. And some people won't understand that, but we'll just say trauma. Some experience that they're having, it's like, okay, how can I help this kid work through some of this trauma based upon what they're telling me? And so if a kid looks at me and they start to describe what home life is like, they describe, anxiety, constantly worried, then I can say to myself, all right, so this kid is pretty much struggling with some things that are happening where they don't feel safe. So I'm going to ask the question, hey, when do you feel your safest? If I can figure out what makes you feel safe, how you feel safe,
to get there.
then exactly. I can backtrack to see at what point did you feel safe, or at what point did some type of harm or hurt happen to you where it kind of left you with a hang up. And then try to help them to see that. Recognizing this, that because I'm not a mental health specialist, that's not my job and my degree, because I don't have 24/7 with these kids, I'm just a small blip the individual they come in contact with. So I'm going to try to do my part in my lane with the time that I have, recognizing that it's going to still take more people to come along behind me to do something very similar to help this person kind of have a community or a support system and a structure that makes them feel safe and secure. I'm going to do my part, though.
I love that you led with listening. I think so many times we get so caught up in what we think we know, or we may know, that we get to talking and we miss that opportunity for them. You're doing a great job, man. Talk about coaching your sons, or at least, having Seth out here, and then, you got the youngest on his way. What's that like? I ain't gonna tell you what he said when I interviewed him, but I'll let you say your part first.
So I started coaching my oldest daughter, who's now at Liberty University, which I'm wearing the shirt. And so Seth is my next one.
Nice shirt, by the way, too.
Thank you. And then Kayla is not a freshman this year. I'm coaching her. It is an awesome opportunity to be out here coaching your kids, because I was going to be out here anyway, even if it was just watching the meets. But to be able to invest in their lives, another aspect outside of the home, not just as dad, but I'm coach. It's just been one of the highlights.
Yeah, I can only imagine. My daughter's she'll be 12 next month. I don't mention that to her. How would you feel as daddy coach? I know she looks at me all crazy. What advice you got for future parent coaches?
Well, I would say this. So each child is going to be different. And so Sierra, no problem coaching her. Seth, I didn't really get a chance to coach him until this year. Seth has been pretty much the one like, hey, Dad, I don't need you. I got it. And so just kind of stay out the way.
He said everybody come to him asking him what's next. Thinking you like, well, what we about to do now? And he's like, I don't know.
Yes. So he has no idea what the workouts are, none of that stuff. So with Seth, it's been a little bit more of a challenge to coach him because, again, he didn't really want his dad's input.
Sure.
But over time, just me allowing him to let other coaches coach him, my assistant coaches, let him just kind of do him. What has happened this year is he has invited me more into a space where I can only be dad but also coach. And that's been really, really just one of the highlights.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Just
I can only imagine.
A blessing.
I'm going to show this to my daughter and say, see, it's going to be okay. Let's see what Well, finally, man, any shout-outs you want to give?
Just shout out, man, I appreciate you doing this, coming out here.
Yeah, sure.
Not only kind of promoting what you're doing, but also giving our kids an opportunity to get this experience because some of them will go to the next level. And this will be, you know, like a precursor to what they'll be doing in the future.
Media training, getting ready.
Shout out to the Sexton program, Principal Bogan, who actually was the one who asked me to fulfill this position 6 years ago.
See, he's so dangerous that when he make requests, you can't do nothing but it's the Godfather. He make you offers, you can't refuse. Shout out to Coach Bogan, Principal Bogan now.
And so to my coaching staff, you know, Coach Capers, Coach Eldon, who've been with me the whole time, and then Coach Wells and Coach Washington, who are new to the girls' side of the program this year. Just really appreciate all of them. And then ultimately, you know, I think my wife, my #1 fan, biggest supporter, my children, Sierra, Seth, Kayla, and LC, and then finally, you know, I'm a man of faith, so I thank the Lord that He's given me this awesome opportunity, not only gifted with the ability to run, but also the opportunity to coach my children. And to be a part of this program and to make an impact on not just my children, but all these children out here. Part of what I love doing is being out here and just showing them a positive example of what a man looks like, a coach, a father. My wife and I have been married for almost 25 years, so they get to kind of just see, like, hey, I'm not sure all of what you guys see at home, but this is another example of, you know, a positive thing, a family who's committed to the community, wants to be involved and just love on people.
And they're looking and watching too, I know.
They absolutely are.
Well, I appreciate our relationship, which goes back. If you've been coaching here 5, we got at least 10 plus.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, and all that. You're doing a great job, and thanks for everything that you do.
Appreciate you.
Okay, so with that being said, guys, this is Lindsay Hudson with SPS, and we see you next time. Peace. I got the world.